Hello, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with me, Ben Boulos. Our headlines today. Good morning. Figures out in the last few moments show the UK economy shrank by 0.1% in January, marking a slowdown in economic activity. I'll explain what it means for you in a few moments. Well, it's all about the numbers, and the Chancellor's got some rather heavy lifting to do to achieve her goals while not breaking Labour's manifesto promises. Yes, hardly a gold blend of growth for the last 3 months of 2024 at just 0.1%. I'm at this tea factory in Newcastle to find out what's holding back businesses like this from growing faster. Good morning from the Corn Exchange in Leeds, a venue rich in economic and trading history. We'll be finding out what people and businesses here think of the budget. The cost of a wedding can easily soar to the sky, so couples are increasingly choosing to get married midweek. I've come to find out more at this rather special venue near Manchester, where you can have your ceremony in a refurbished jumbo jet. Do not adjust your set, you are watching the right channel. We've come down to Coronation Street this morning to find out about the increasing popularity of TV set tours. As we round off our Scams Week, we're here at the University of Central Lancashire in Preston with experts and a live audience to help you beat the fraudsters. Working out how to keep the little ones entertained this Easter weekend, I've come to Lakeland Maze Farm in Cumbria to find out how rising costs are affecting UK visitor attractions. Ladies' fashion gives way to lanes for go-karts. Good morning from the former Debenhams department store building in Liverpool city centre, now a huge entertainment and leisure venue, opening its doors later this week. We've just found out that inflation, the rate of average price rises for goods and services, was 3% in January compared with a year ago. That's the fastest pace of price rises we've seen for 10 months. We're at this tea factory at Rington's in Newcastle. This is the tea being bagged up to make sure it's nice and fresh by the time you're putting the kettle on. And that machine there is where they actually bag the individual tea bags up. 2,000 a minute is how many they can do. And you know what? Economic growth is about getting things like that number higher, not just making more, but selling more. And that's what we're talking about this morning. Now, let me explain why we're here. This is the Leeds Corn Exchange. It's a rather stunning venue. It's one that is rich in economic and trading history. In the mid-1800s, it was a place where they used to trade corn, grain. Now it's full of dozens of independent shops and small businesses. But let's just run through some of the key points. We'll be speaking to some of the people gathered here in a moment, but first I want to run through some of the key points in the budget.
I'd like to see if they actually have plans to enforce it on a wide scale.
OK, really good point there. Thank you for sharing that with us. Also watching the budget, Tracy Brabin, the Mayor of West Yorkshire. Was it a budget that will benefit the people you represent?
Well, absolutely. And as you heard from Shona, minimum wage is really important.
GDP is a measure of how much activity is going on, how much as a nation we are making, building, growing, buying and selling. These figures tell us there was less of that going on in January, and it has a very real and direct impact on our daily lives. It means that generally firms are not selling as much. They're making less money, meaning they're less likely to give pay rises or hire new staff. In turn, that means less tax being paid to the government to fund public services such as health and education. Just remember, at the very heart of this is one simple aim: to get to the truth about what happened, about how and why the state-owned post office used its power over 2 decades to relentlessly pursue hundreds of innocent men and women, leading to many of them losing their businesses, their homes, their reputations, in some cases their liberty and even their lives. Getting a trade deal is about making it easier, cheaper and smoother for businesses in the United Kingdom and the United States to trade more between the two countries. If a trade deal meant British firms selling more in America, that means they make more money, they then pay more tax on those profits, perhaps hire more staff, invest in new equipment and so on, all the things that generally grow the wider economy and increase people's living standards. What we're hearing, this news breaking in the last few minutes, that Nationwide, First Direct, Lloyds and Halifax all confirming issues with their online banking systems, as we're saying, leaving people without access to their money on payday. Contactless payments, either using a physical card or your digital wallet or a phone or smartwatch, are now so common that they accounted, oh, look at that, for nearly 40% of the nearly 50 billion payments made in the UK in 2023. You could get married wearing one of these, although if you're a guest wearing one of these, can I strongly advise you do not use the light and the whistle to attract attention. You will just make a scene of yourself. Right, let's try this. This is a first attempt, so don't judge me too harshly. I'm not going to go for anything too fancy. Earlier this morning, we had someone get in touch to ask, is the site dog-friendly? Well, we can ask Leo and Denzel. Is it dog-friendly? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's your answer. But the rate at which those prices are rising has slowed down again. Now, they look at a typical basket of goods and services. I don't work here, I'm just doing the news. Sorry, the typical basket of goods and services.
Thank you for explaining that. Thanks for fitting us into your shift at the market this morning. That's very kind of you. What was happening just then?
Well, I can tell you the aubergines and the peppers £12 a box, so if you want any, I'll pick some up for you. But if I wanted to work for Lord Sugar, would he hire me or fire me?
As an interviewer goes, I think you've done a very good job, in which case I would say that you're hired.